Hello friends, welcome back to the Break Free Network, and in this video, what is a trust?
Hi, Asher.
Hey Addison.
I believe this is my cue.
By all means, go ahead.
Trust 1. An independent entity. Required to file a tax return. A trust features a fiduciary relationship in which one person, the trustee, holds legal title to property, the trust property, subject to an equitable duty to keep or use the property for the benefit of another, the beneficiary. 2. A complex trust may gather and distribute income along with principal. 3. A simple trust is required to distribute all of its income within the tax year in which it is earned.
So in short, a trust is a collection of assets transferred into a financial account under the name of a family trust. For example, the name of the trust might be the Smith Family Trust. These assets, now identified belonging to the Smith Family Trust, are managed for the benefit of the Smith family members or other appointed people and groups. All recipients of goods or funds are identified as beneficiaries. They receive the benefits of the trust, which may be assets kept or cash flows generated. The relationships of the beneficiaries to the trust and how these benefits are given to them control what type of trust is set up. The collection of transferred assets, identified as corpus, can be investments, rental property, promissory notes, business ventures, etc., all designed or selected to produce cash flow for the beneficiaries. Hey Addison, could you give them the definition of a grantor, beneficiary, and corpus?
Grantor 1. The one who creates a trust, settles the initial funding to the trust, selects the trustees and beneficiaries. 2. The person who grants and gives over the initial funding to set up the trust. The grantor is the same as settler, creator, and truster. Beneficiary 1. A person designated to have and hold the equitable interest in a trust estate. 2. Holders of the certificates of capital units, who receive disbursements when the trustees so dictate. 3. The person for whose benefit a trust is created. 4. The person to whom the amount of an insurance policy or annuity is payable. 5. A person who holds units of beneficial interest to receive only a percentage of trust profit. 6. Trustees are sometimes referred to as beneficiaries, as they legally receive the corpus, and are under contract to disperse it to others named as beneficiaries. Corpus. The body and capital assets. The property in the trust. The trust principal. The principal or capital of an estate, as distinguished from the income. It forms the baseline of the trust's value.
Some trust pays most of its funds at the death of the grantor, and some trusts provide a cash flow to the beneficiaries during the lifetime of the grantor. The grantor does not have to die to benefit his or her family. Remember though, that all trusts become irrevocable on the death of the grantor. How does a trust work? There are two types of trust, revocable and irrevocable. Addison?
Irrevocable trust. A trust which by its terms cannot be revoked by the grantor. The trust grantor has limited control or no control over the assets. Therefore, trust assets are excluded from his or her estate at death. The trust income is not taxed to the grantor. Revocable trust. A trust that by its terms may be stopped by the grantor or by another person, but only with the consent or approval of one or more other persons. A revocable trust provides for professional management of assets, while leaving the grantor the choices of ending or changing trustees and returning the assets to personal control if warranted, opposed to an irrevocable trust.
The living trust is the most common revocable trust type. This means you could revoke the trust at any time. A revocable trust, though, eventually becomes irrevocable. This means the person who set up the trust passed and can no longer change the terms of the trust, thus making it irrevocable. The grantor revocable trust. The person such as the husband and wife who sets up the trust has assets to establish the initial corpus. This is how the trust is funded. He or she transfers the title to the trust, and in a revocable trust, the immediate beneficiary is usually the grantor and the spouse, after which they're known as the contingent beneficiaries. The irrevocable trust. The grantor could establish an irrevocable trust at any time during his or her life. Once he or she places funds into the trust, that person no longer owns them. The funds are the responsibility of the trustees in the name of the trust, and the grantor is neither responsible for them nor pay taxes on any increases. The beneficiaries are now eligible for distribution and pay taxes on what they receive. They do not need to wait until the grantor passes. Hey Addison, could you please define the third group in all trust entities, the trustee?
Trustee, the person or entity appointed or elected to conserve, protect, and manage the assets or properties transferred to a trust for a beneficiary or beneficiaries.
With all the funds in the trust, the trustee invests and manages any income earned. They can sell the initial corpus and buy different assets, or they could administer the original assets. Because the purpose of the trust is to increase assets and especially the cash flow, the trustees receive a percentage of distribution as an incentive. It is likely that an aggressive board of trustees, or just one trustee, will take action to find strong, profitable investments that have a reasonable margin of safety. The objective is to ensure the welfare of the beneficiaries, and so profits produced from investments the trust holds are either reinvested or the beneficiaries receive some or all of the profits. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.